Hey, I thought I'd do a little impromptu port review update. Uh, I was not made aware of this until I was looking for any evidence of if they had actually patched Wars Orochi 4 since I last played it, and it turns out they did. Someone had mentioned on one of the videos that was showing how bad the frame rate was before that they had patched it to 1.08. I don't know when this happened. I assume it was probably when the that last like bug fix patch came out, which was like a couple months ago, like 2 3 months ago. They mentioned it was a pretty stable 30 FPS, and I don't know what's going on right now, but it seems like the game is going out of print, at least on the Switch. So a lot of the major retailers, meaning GameStop and Best Buy, they're both selling it for $20. So if you have a Switch and you haven't played the game yet, or you're like me and you just kind of want a physical version, if you want to, I don't know, maybe hope it'll be worth more money later on. I also have a friend who wants to play it who doesn't really have any experience with Muso games, and they don't want to take a risk on it by buying it, which is totally understandable. I don't really play a lot of games outside of my preferred genres for that reason. I'm not going to drop 50, $60 on something I may not even like. So I went ahead and picked this up today since I had didn't really have any adult responsibilities. I did play through a map earlier in portable mode, and it was definitely far more stable than it was before. You have to keep in mind that this runs at 30 FPS, like barely 30 FPS on the base PS4. So the fact that they have it running at 30 FPS, mostly locked on here, is actually a pretty big deal. Now, unfortunately, I bought the DLC on the PC version, and I don't have it on here, so I can't really do the biggest stress test. I think the biggest stress test for this game would probably be playing the what is it called, the arena mode, where all the peons spawn. But unfortunately, I don't have access to that, and I'm really not going to buy it again. So you'll have to just take my word for it. Maybe when I have a little bit more funds, I'll update this again and do a quick stress test. I hear the Spirit of Sanada port on here is actually quite good as well. It's actually like better than the PS4 version in some ways because it runs uncapped. But it's like very rarely on sale, and even when it is, it's still like $55. And there's obviously a lot of more reading involved in that game than stuff like this. Where I remember I knew like no Japanese at all. I used to play Warriors Orochi 1 and 2 on my PS2, and I basically just memorized all the kanji and stuff to put things on the weapons. You can't really do that in Spirit of Sanada, so I don't think I'll be able to do a port review for that anytime soon. Anyway, let's just go with this team here and just get straight to a game. I feel this game was kind of like half of a disappointment. I definitely wasn't as disappointed as other people were, but it's kind of frustrating how they put like a pretty good combat system and there's just like nothing to use it on. I was really hoping they'd announce like an expansion or something by now. Just some end game content would really have given this game a lot more longevity. Of course, as soon as I say that, it seems to be running more laggy than the last map I did. But whatever. Actually, let's go ahead and try another map here. I don't know why that one was lagging. I was playing in portable mode and it was actually very stable. And for whatever reason, when I put it in docked, it just starts lagging again. I didn't say it was perfect. I said it was improved, and I can definitely see that they did make some improvements, but still not as good as it should be. Kind of afraid of One Piece Part Warriors 4. Like, how choppy is that going to be? I think the only real version of this that runs at a lock 60 is pretty much the PC version. That PC port is like an anomaly. Like, there were a lot of problems with the performance, like, within, like, the launch window, like, the first week, and then they, like, instantly fixed it. They fixed it within, I think it was, like, maybe 1.5 weeks? Like, that's unprecedented for this company. You know, I owe a lot of my notoriety on the internet to their games and stuff, but they've never been good at optimizing anything. I was pretty shocked that they fixed this game pretty quickly. You can see it's actually quite a bit more stable here than it was before. I think the main issue now, like them abandoning this game, is that they can't make another one of these anytime soon because they need to declone everybody in Dynasty Warriors 9, which is going to take forever. And then they need to release Samurai Warriors 5 and have it not have these same ancient movesets. It's like, you'd think they would support this game for longer than 2 months. I'm glad they at least came back and they did fix the Dynasty Warriors characters, so they actually had elements on their charge attacks. I thought that was nice, but definitely a lot more could have been done. Definitely could have been more ways for them to use the existing assets and add an interesting endgame. I didn't really like Gauntlet mode that much because the core mechanics of the tagging and stuff were gone, but I can't deny that it wasn't a good endgame mode. You know, mostly using existing assets, obviously low budget, but the rewards were worth it. It's just fine, you know, people play, like, the campaign in DMC games, like, 10% of the time they play in Bloody Palace or in 5 training mode. So it's not really a big deal, but I don't understand why more developers don't use existing assets to try to improve something that's otherwise lacking in replay value in game content. I remember it being a lot more laggy than this when I first played it. Basically, Gamefly sent it to me because I had it in my queue, and I don't remember what else I wanted at that time, but they sent me this instead, and I was kind of turned off by the lag. And before you ask, no, I will not be playing through this game again on Switch. It's mostly so my friend can try it, and in the event that they do like come back and add stuff to the game, it's not completely unheard of. You know, they did that with like Dynasty Warriors. Most Dynasty Warriors games go to Excel. Provided that they have an upgrade option, I'll definitely be able to try out all the new content if it does happen. It's definitely what I dislike about this game the most is how much they talk. You're stuck, like, ramming your head in the doors, waiting for them to open. It's like this game has like the fastest gameplay out of any traditional Musou game, and it's held back by how much they talk, how heavily scripted everything is. Even if the weapons, the hidden weapons and stuff had been like actually worth getting, I tried to get a couple of them, and it just got to the point where I was spending more time waiting than actually clearing the map. I really don't know what's up with this engine in general. Like, it shouldn't be running as badly as it is on base PS4. I mean, it's kind of crazy that this is running about on par with the base PS4 version right now, for better or for worse. Pretty disappointing. I feel like there hasn't been a good like Musou game engine since MT Framework. Like that was like the best one. Obviously Basar definitely takes a lot of graphical and like technical sacrifices to run at a stable 60 FPS, and the peon count is nowhere near as high, but I never really consider that to be a relevant issue considering how good the combat is. But a lot of these other Musou game engines feel like they're held together with like dollar store scotch tape. So honestly, it's a miracle to me that I have a good enough PC now to run Dynasty Warriors 9 at a mostly locked 60 FPS. So you can say it was a lot better there. I don't know, maybe it's like a lot of other Musou games, like whenever like Chirby would be on fire in Dynasty Warriors 8, that was a slideshow too, but I have played a couple maps on this and it definitely seems to be significantly improved. Like I said, when you consider how poorly it runs on the base PS4, you can't really complain about this too much now. It seems just about on par. Yeah, PS4 version definitely seems to handle the particle effects much better. You definitely still get pretty significant dips when you use some of the sacred treasure attacks, but overall it's a pretty good improvement. So if you want to get the game, right now it seems to be Best Buy and GameStop that are selling it for $20, and it's not like a temporary discount or anything. It's like a permanent price drop. So that usually means that it's going out of print. So if you haven't played the game yet, or you just want to get it on Switch, or you want to lend it to a friend like I am, then I definitely recommend getting it as soon as possible. I was going to buy it from Best Buy today, but when I woke up in the morning, as soon as they opened, someone had already bought it. Most places didn't really get a high amount of copies of this. I think it was a low print run in general. So if you have the spare $20, I definitely recommend it. If it's pre-owned, it will only be $1 off, so you might as well buy it then too. Like I said, it is patch 1.08. Hold on, it's gonna make me do this. Like I said, it's patch 1.08, so the game is gonna ship at. It's gonna be out of the box at 1.0, so you have to go check for updates. So there's the version there. I believe the DLC. Can actually check that really quick. The only thing really worth getting from the DLC in this game is the sacred treasures, since a lot of those are actually a lot of fun. And then maybe arguably the horses. It is nice to have a fast horse right away, but even then, I mean, in this game, like you have so many times where you're stuck just staring at a wall, waiting for them to shut up so that you can play. So I recommend getting the sacred treasures. I believe they're like $12. Yeah, Sacred Treasures pack is $12. The rest of the stuff is not really worth getting. So you would basically be getting the full game for $32. There's really only a couple of the DLC missions that are actually good for like end game stuff. And this game has no end game to begin with, so you may not even want to bother with that. So you would be getting basically all the stuff worth getting for $32, maybe like 33 or 34 after tax. So I definitely recommend it for that price. I mean, if you haven't played the game before, it's probably the cheapest you're going to get it for a while. As you know how Koei is, they never steeply discount their stuff. The only time it ever really happens is when there's like the game goes out of print, or it's a situation like Dynasty Warriors 9 where the initial reception damaged it so much that a lot of the major retailers and stuff are trying to get rid of it. But yeah, I probably won't be doing much more with this. Maybe I'll play it randomly on stream or something, but it's mostly just so my friend can borrow it. And in the event that they do an expansion, then I'll pretty much be prepared there. Anyway, hope you liked my little update there, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.